10 remarkable origins of common Christmas traditions. Number 10. Christmas. Christmas, as most of us know, is the Christian tradition honoring the birth of Christ, though it is not celebrated solely as such in our modern society. To us, Christmas represents a time of joy, gift-giving, and family. Christmas as we know it evolved out of the Roman tradition of Saturnalia, a festival honoring their god of agriculture, Saturn, on the winter solstice. Number 9. Gift-giving. It is sometimes said that the tradition of gift-giving started with the 3 wise men, who visited Jesus and gave him gifts of myrrh, frankincense, and gold. If you want to start a Christmas tradition, I suppose the first Christmas would be a good date to start. As with many other entries on this list though, the true origin of gift-giving lies in pagan beliefs. During Saturnalia, children would often be given gifts of wax dolls, an act with a rather macabre history itself. The dolls were used to represent human sacrifices that Rome had given to Saturn in the past as payment for good harvests. Boughs of certain trees and other plant matter were also a common gifts during Saturnalia, and were used to represent bounty and good harvests. Number 8. XMAS. While some rather ignorant groups in the Americas believe that the abbreviation XMAS is an attempt by the dirty liberals to keep the Christ out of Christmas, the true origins have a strong basis in Christianity. In the abbreviation, the X stands for the Greek letter Chi, the first letter of the Greek word for Christ. Jesus' name has also been abbreviated as XP, a combination of the first and second letters of the Greek word for Christ. From XP comes the labarum, a holy symbol in Orthodox Christianity that represents Jesus. Number 7. Stockings. Many people know of Saint Nicholas being the basis of Santa Claus, but the practice of stocking stuffing can be traced back to his charitable donations in the 4th century. Nicholas believed that childhood should be savored and enjoyed, but in a time where boys and girls younger than 10 had to work to support their families, this wasn't always possible. Number 6. Wreaths. Since classical antiquity, the wreath has been used as a symbol of power and strength. In Roman Greece, kings and emperors often wore laurel wreaths as crowns, a practice they themselves borrowed from the Etruscans, who predated them. The Greeks and the Romans connected the laurel wreath to their sun god, Apollo, and considered the crown to embody his values. Number 5. Christmas tree. The modern Christmas tree differs greatly from its roots. Today, we decorate an everlasting, artificial construct with bright lights and dazzling ornaments, while traditionally, the tree was of course, real and more importantly, decorated with edibles such as apples and nuts. The tradition, as with that of the wreath, started with the elements symbolized by evergreens in pre-Christian winter festivals, immortality and fortitude. Number 4. Caroling. Christmas carols grew out of the first Christmas hymns, which developed in 4th century Rome. While these Latin hymns were sung in church for generations, the first true carols developed in France, Germany, and Italy in the 13th century. These carols, written in the vernacular language of the area they were composed, were enthusiastically sung at community events and festivals. They were not composed specifically as Christmas carols, but rather as conglomerate holiday songs that were sung at many separate festivals and celebrations. Number 3. Boxing Day. Boxing Day is, as opposed to the rest of this list, an instance where a secular holiday grew out of a religious one. In most English-speaking countries, Boxing Day is traditionally the day following Christmas in which people receive gifts from their bosses or employers. Number 2. Mistletoe. Mistletoe is a parasitic plant which perches on a tree branch and absorbs nutrients from the trunk, hardly one of the most romantic forms of life. But it has been inspiring people to go at it for generations. Mistletoe has a large mythological background across many cultures. Number 1. Santa. Most people know that Santa's origins lie in Saint Nicholas, that generous saint who gave presents to needy children. However, many other figures evolved into the conglomerate we call Santa Claus. The modern Santa Claus, contrary to popular belief, was not created by Coca-Cola, but has been in American folklore since the late 18th century. His name comes from an Americanization of Santa Claus, and somewhere along the way, he lost his bishop's hat. One could write an entire list on the origins of individual components of Santa's story. Suffice to say that they all have interesting origins.